Hey, what is going on everyone, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Now today's video is just going to be a really short one, and that's because I just wanted to showcase some of the highlights I had from the Goblin Giant challenge. Now I know this first replay is not from that challenge, but bear with me here folks. There was just something in here that I really found to be funny, and I just wanted to show it to you guys as well, so you guys could get a good kick out of it as well. Now anyways, our first opponent here is going to be Mario. Now Mario here, he's playing a spellbait deck here. This is in the classic deck challenge, of course, in the collection day mode. Now he uses the Goblin Gang here to make quick work of my Hog. Hog only gets one swing there, so I'm just gonna burn a log there, killing the princess. And the reason why I did this is because I knew I had the tornado in hand, which would then allow me to activate my king tower pretty early on, and that would have been a really big help for me overall. So he tosses the barrel there, I'm ready with my tornado there, and I pull two of the goblins to the king. That is looking pretty good for me here folks. We have the king tower activated, and once you have the king activated, you can then not worry as much when you're defending against a barrel, because he'll then be able to help you out on defense. Now I don't want that princess to lock on, so I just dropped a knight over there at the bridge. And then he makes the careless mistake of dropping his Goblin Gang into the knight there, and the knight actually does get to the princess. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't quite sure that the knight would be enough to get to that princess there, so I opted to use my log because I still have my tornado in hand. Now, I used the Ice Bird there just to distract the Inferno Tower, and take a look at that. This is what I was talking about. The Valkyrie he deployed, which was an overcommitment for that Hog Rider, it actually shoved the Hog Rider just out of reach of the Inferno Tower, which was pretty hilarious to me, all things considered there, because he spent 9 elixir there, and he basically set himself back because the Inferno Tower was already going to deal with the Hog, and it was just a waste of elixir overall. So we reset here right now. He's near full elixir. I have my log in hand, and I'm just waiting to see what he does. He throws a rocket at us, so I'm deciding, you know what, let's just cycle an executioner in the back, because why not? He does not have that rocket in hand now to counter us. And now he's cycling his princess in the back and then setting up with a defensive Inferno Tower, but that just spells lightning value for us here. So we clip the princess, the crown tower, as well as the Inferno Tower. Now I don't know how, but that Inferno Tower was just clinging on to dear life, as it did manage to roast half of my Hog's HP there, which was quite unfortunate for me. Now I toss my log here, and I believe that does catch the princess. He made a mistake there, honestly. He should have dropped the princess at least one tile back maybe, or just waited until my log was out of use there, because he just basically fed me easy log value. Now I'm gonna lightning down that tower there. Again, he's cycling rockets. My Hog does actually get one swing on the tower, bringing it down once and for all. So we just need to defend here folks. We are gonna burn a log on that goblin barrel there. We're not taking any chances. He only has 4 seconds left. There's nothing he can do at this point in time, so that's basically GG there. We just toss a Hog in the middle, and that wraps it up for match number 1. So anyways folks, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could pick between the two cards on the screen right now, between the Giant and the Goblin Giant there. I have this draft poll every now and then, so I'd really like to hear what you guys would pick in a draft. Would you pick the Goblin Giant, or would you pick the regular Giant? Personally, like I said in my last video, I would prefer to take the regular Giant because he just has more HP, he does more damage, and he costs less elixir. So that's just my take on it. What do you guys think? Do let me know your thoughts on this by dropping a comment down below, voting for your favorite card, and telling me why you would pick that particular card in the draft there. So anyways, moving on to match number 2 now. We've already picked our cards here, and yes, you saw right there folks, I did take the Elite Barbarians. However, that was not on purpose. I was actually leaning towards taking the Graveyard, and by the time I was pressing the Graveyard, apparently time had run out, and they decided to give me the Elite Barbarians anyways. Even though I clearly did touch the Graveyard card just before the timer ran out, the server did not seem to just respond to my choice. That's just happened before in the past and in previous video. And it really does suck when this happens, because it has the potential to make you lose a game you would otherwise win. Because let's say the card that you were picking last was the one that would help you win the game, the card you were relying on most to change the tide of the match. Now, let's say you happen to pick the card late like I did in these two instances, then you'd be left feeling pretty screwed over, because this card would then be in the hands of your opponent, and you'd have no possible way of coming back, because this one card would be your ticket to either victory or solid defense, and without it, you're likely not going to be able to make much happen. So anyways, he decides to defend everything there before with a log, and I decide, you know what, I have no other good plays really in hand, so why not rush in with a Dark Prince? He was actually broken on Elixir. He did not want to use the Executioner to defend the Dark Prince, and we get quite a lot of damage off on that tower. Now, I'm looking at my cards here and I'm thinking really hard, what do I want to do to defend this? And seeing that I had the Goblin Giant next up in rotation, I cycle my goblins and I push forward with the Goblin Giant, knowing that the Spear Goblins on his back would be able to take care of those coming out of the Spear Goblin hut there, and we'd be able to get some decent damage off on the Executioner as well. Now, we do actually fail to get any connections there on the tower, which is quite unfortunate for us, and my opponent is getting ready with a Graveyard Freeze combo here. Now, I decide to send in my Dark Prince, hoping that it would be able to distract the Executioner enough there, but unfortunately for me, he throws both the Wizard and the Dark Prince there, and the towers as well. So that was really poorly played by myself there, so I really regretted that quite a lot. So now we're just going to set up on defense. I knew that Royal Giant was coming. I threw a Tombstone down, and we're going to toss some Elite Barbarians there on the side just to make quick work of that there. We send our Wizard, and I don't know how the Executioner does end up retargeting onto the Wizard, which is quite unfortunate. He has to defend with the Hunter now, but those Elite Barbarians are actually going to be enough to take down that right side tower. So we are 1-0 right now, and I know that Royal Giant is coming, so we're going to have to cycle really fast here. I get my Tombstone down just in the nick of time there to burst down that Royal Giant. Now, the Royal Giant does get one shot on my tower there, but the skeletons from the Tombstone were just enough to help finish him off there. Now, the poison is going to be double casted here just to make sure that the graveyard skeletons would not be able to connect to the tower. But even with the poisons being double casted there, you clearly saw that one skeleton did get a hit off, which does prove the point that even if a poison is applied to a graveyard, you can still get some amount of damage done there. So with that being said there, folks, if you haven't tried it already, make sure you check out the Spartan Elite Energy Drink. I'll have a link to their website in the description and pinned comment down below, and using my discount code, you can get a sizable discount off of your next purchase. So anyways, moving on to our last match, and this is the feature match of today's video. So this is where something really exciting happened to me, and I could not believe it when it happened, but it just went by so fast, I could not believe what I saw. So anyways, we're playing another draft match here, and this time we do end up taking the Goblin Giant. Now this of course was during the event when I was trying to finish the quest, which asked us to play the Goblin Giant, if I recall correctly. So anyways, opponent is going to be Gutty 2001, I think is his name there, and he has a giant balloon deck. Now take a look at my cards here. If he were to rush with a giant balloon at the start of the match there, that would be GG for me. I would have no way of defending that, because the only card that would have affected air would have been the Fireball there, unless he had something to kill the Ice Golem, and even then, that would not do any significant amount of damage. So he gets off a decent amount of hit points off of the Goblin Hut, which I had there previously, and he's holding back on that balloon. And that, my friends, is actually a really good decision by him there, because he would just get me in the habit of defending against the giant alone there, and then he'd be able to just capitalize on any mistakes that I make later on in the match if I happen to use all of my air counters. Now, my air counters for this match are going to be technically the Goblin Giant himself, the Fireball, and the Goblin Hut. So not really ideal counters here in my hand, so I'm doing the best I can. So that Lumberjack dies there, and he has a raged up giant, but thanks to the Ice Wizard there, we helped slow down that giant. Now take a look at this bandit here. This bandit is just going to be so much value. She dashes to the giant, finishes him off, and then dashes to the hunter, kills him as well, and then dashes to that tower. That was seriously satisfying to watch there, if I do say so myself. So now he's setting up another furnace here, and the fire spirits end up splitting, so they're not really going to do that much overall. They don't get anywhere anytime soon, so we're just going to hang back here and see what he does next. So I toss an Ice Golem there just to absorb the fire spirits, because I don't want any unnecessary chip damage on my towers. Now here I think is when he first reveals the balloon. Yeah, he drops Lumberjack and Balloon, which is pretty scary to me right now, but we pull the balloon off to the right side there with the Ice Wizard and Goblins from the Goblin Hut there helping out on defense, and we are just barely able to defend against that loon. Now imagine if he had a giant in front of all of that there. That would be impossible to defend. So honestly speaking, folks, I'm really glad that he did not choose to send the balloon with the giant instead of the lumberjack there. It was much easier to defend with the lumberjack than the balloon. Of course, the raged balloon is a force to be reckoned with by itself. And now he's tossing a lumberjack behind that giant. I don't really get that play. It did not seem to make much sense to me. I'm not really sure what this guy's thinking at this point in time. And right now, he does not have that great of a defensive hand, so he cycles a giant there just to occupy or really distract the bowler and knight that were coming down his lane. He cycles to a furnace as well to support his giant, and now he's going to cycle to a hunter, trying to get rid of my bowler there, which was a good play overall, but I shoved the hunter off of my bowler there with the Goblin Giant. And looking back on things here, I probably should have just fireballed that hunter out of existence, because I probably would have been able to save so much elixir by just making that one different play here. So now we have to deal with this giant on the right lane, and again my opponent is thinking what to do. So this time he cycles a balloon all the way in the back of his tower there, so I decided to fireball the balloon there, clipping the furnace and tower in the process there. Now I am not sure why he really did this here, to be honest, because he was not able to get a giant up in hand as well to tank for it, so that really was a questionable play to me there. So we're going to continue pushing forward with our Goblin Giant right now, and we have a few spare goblins helping out on defense. We toss a bandit as well into the mix there. She's going to be laying into the giant while the Goblin Giant just quickly goes down to that Skarmy there. So we once again set up a bowler now, and I think this is where something really terrifying happens. He's going to get ready to push with that balloon in the opposite lane once again with the lumberjack there. The balloon does not aggro onto the goblin hut. So what are we going to do, folks? What are we going to do? We have a raged balloon on our tower. Oh, we fireball that there. I was aiming to fireball the balloon backwards, but take a look at what happens here, folks. The boulder from the bowler there crushes that crown tower just in the nick of time as that balloon's death bomb goes off. So we are back in the match here, folks. Once again, we might not be at an advantage at that point in time due to tower damage, but we had the elixir advantage and we capitalized on that there. The bowler is tanking for the spare goblins. They get a few shots on the tower there. The bandit dashes to the tower just before the furnace goes down, and boom, with the help of the fireball there and my icy boy throwing his ice shots on that crown tower, we were able to clutch a victory there. So that about wraps it up for this video here, folks. I hope you all enjoyed that really intense last match there. I thought it was pretty epic to have a match in sudden death go on after such an epic tower trade there in sudden death. Now that really does not happen so often, but man, it's awesome to see it in play. Now anyways, before I wrap things up here, I just want to give a quick shout out to my friend Dashmallow YouTube. He did a collaboration with me the other day where I challenged him on his channel there, or at least he challenged me. We both played together a bit and we had some good fun overall. So if you want to check out that video, you can find a link to that in the description down below. So check it out if you can, and let him know we said hi from this channel here. So thank you again everyone for sticking with me here. The support really means a lot. And I have some good news for you guys here. So I did in fact pre-record some of my Road to Master series, so I'll be uploading that as soon as I get the chance. I just need to edit them and then I'll be able to publish as soon as I can, so do look forward to that. Anyways, thank you all once again for watching, and as always folks, just remember, if you keep on digging, you'll eventually strike gold, but even then, keep on digging deeper. You'll eventually come across something even more worth your while. So once again everyone, thank you so much for all your support, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out, guys.